Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. And now, coming to the mic, your host, Jalen Walker.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jalen Walker. If you're listening to the podcast via Spotify, Apple Music, or any other streaming platforms, please make sure to check us out on YouTube as well and click that subscribe button. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still speechless from 2 weeks ago from UFC 261. What a night. It felt like that event had everything, jaw-dropping moments, some head turners, fans, but congrats to Valentina, Rose, and Kamaru on outstanding performances, true champs in my eyes. But yeah, with the UFC back in full swing, we had UFC Vegas 25 last week, and then we got UFC Vegas 26 tomorrow. Joining the show today is a UFC Flyweight prospect. We had him on the show before. He earned the $50K bonus for Friday night at UFC 261. We'll talk to him and break down his amazing performance. But first, a word for our sponsors at Manscaped. Hey, you got Bush? You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor, Manscaped. After using these life-changing products, you're going to want to join the Manscaped community. I'm looking out for you because I also have an exclusive 20% off discount code plus free shipping. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. This is the best trimmer to help you trim up those hedges. The trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. With the Perfect Package or Performance Package purchase, you get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a $39 value, and the patent high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for your bush trimming experience. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code pound for pound at manscaped.com. Thank you, Manscaped, for that. Also, be tuning in for Manscaped. They're going to be making a big announcement, I think 3 days. Don't want to give any hints away, but it's a new and improved upgrade, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. All right, give me 1 second. We're going to introduce our guest here in 1 sec. I think he just walked away for 1 second. But yeah, man, joining us on the show today is a top prospect in the UFC Flyweight division. He first appeared on Dana White's Contender Series last year, where he rightfully earned a UFC contract. This fighter trains under one of the best coaches in gyms, in my opinion, James Krause, out of Glory MMA and Fitness. He recently fought last week at UFC, or 2 weeks ago at UFC 261. I'm gonna botch the guy's name, where he defeated Quilig Aori and earned himself a $50K bonus for fight of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce back to the podcast, Jeff Molina, aka El Jefe. What's going on, my man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for coming back on.
What an introduction, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, man. You deserve it. I mean, you were on you were my first guest on Pound for Pound, and now
let's go.
And now look at you, man. You're out here getting a fight of the night, $50K bonus, man. You even called it out with Joe Rogan at the end of the fight, man. But honestly, first question: how did that feel? I know for me, I've always been a huge Joe Rogan fan. His podcast, I mean, it's my generation growing up with that, and how did that feel to finally have that moment with all the fans there speaking to Joe Rogan? Did you dream about that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, man, I can't see you on my end here.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, let me take care of that.
But yeah, likewise, bro. I'm not sure how old you are, but I think we're pretty similar in age. And I grew up on his podcast, so I wish it wasn't as foggy as it is. Because I got clipped pretty good there at the last 10 seconds of that third round.
I know.
But
Ooh.
man, yeah, fucking talking to Joe Rogan, dude, like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something I've dreamt of. I had a call out I wanted to do, man. My teammate Julian Marquez, king of call outs. I was gonna take a page out of his book, and I had a call out all planned out, dude. I was practicing it maybe for like 2 weeks before the fight. Every day when I was in the shower, I'd practice it. You know, I shower like 2-3 times a day because I work out a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so I had it down to a science. But me getting pretty fucked up there in the last 10 seconds. As soon as Joe pulled me in to interview me, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna try it. I'm gonna sound like an idiot if I try it. But I had a pretty good call out planned. But I'm glad I didn't sound like too much of an idiot. The first thing I asked James was like, dude, how stupid did I sound talking to Joe? And he's like, dude, it actually wasn't that bad. I'm like, all right.
No,
all
yeah,
right,
it was cool, man. There was no issues with it or anything like that. But yeah, man, like that's like I feel like for some fighters when they finally talk to Joe and like after a win, like because Joe's been there since the beginning pretty much. And I mean, he's been there since the heyday. And like some fighters I feel like that's like, all right, this is the big deal. This is the big stage. And especially for some fighters before they even had the audience attendance. Like for you're very fortunate to have almost a sold out crowd. I mean, I think wasn't it like almost half the seats filled up or even more like for the first fight?
Yeah, man. I had a couple friends and teammates, and my brother came out to watch me fight, and they were telling me there was at least 7,000 people there. So
yeah,
at least half of
15,000 people. Yeah, it's well over.
Which is crazy for early prelims,
dude,
man.
Yeah.
That's like almost unheard of, you know.
Dude, the first fight, what's her name? I can't remember the two women that fought, but that fight was insane. But literally, it was like you could like feel it. You know what I mean? Like you could just feel the energy from just the first fight in the early prelims, man. I thought that was, man, it was a sight to see. I wish I could have been there, but even on TV, the energy was coming across.
No, for sure, man. I remember warming up, and then they had the fights planned, and that girl fight you're talking about was planned. And James, before the fight started, was like, all right, this is probably gonna go 15 minutes, just to kind of go off the warm up. And then that first round happened. We're like, all right, this is probably not going 15 minutes. Let's do one last blowout, and you'll probably be heading out there pretty soon and be on deck.
Nice. But yeah, man. So you fought. Do you know how to pronounce his name correctly?
Yes, man, dude. I didn't figure out how to pronounce. I was butchering it for 10 weeks straight until the week of the fight. I did an interview, and it was a South Korean guy named John. Super cool dude. Great journalist. His name's pronounced Archie Long. He said.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has no last name. I guess in China it's just like one long name.
Okay.
So Archie Long. It actually sounds kind of American, though.
Yeah, it does. It really does. But yeah, man, that dude could take a punch. Like you were swinging. I mean, you both were swinging. But dude, I just thought at any moment that guy was gonna go down.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. One of my teammates was like, dude, I guess that guy was like built in a lab or something. He was tough. He was big. Just came. We knew he was gonna try to walk me down, man. That's kind of his style. And that's how he finds success, is walking people down. And I had a hard time finding him in the first round, but we made the proper adjustments. And I started finding my range and tagging him. And once I found him, it's kind of like Kraus equates it to like if you ever play like Call of Duty or something, or Grand Theft Auto, onto like a helicopter with like a rocket launcher. It's like me locking
the honing missile.
Boom. Yeah. And then once I find you, I find you. And once I found him, I was locked in, and I think I was able to kind of put on or at least show a little bit what I'm capable of, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that first round, you could tell you were feeling him out and stuff like that. And then immediately in that second round, dude, like, I think you just opened everyone's eyes. Even the commentators are speaking of it. Like, I can't remember who was saying it, but, God, who was it? I can't remember. But I think it might have been DC, but he was like, man, that boy got swagger in his step now. And you could physically see, like your mindset changed and then go head hunting. And like, dude, that dude was just like the Korean zombie, man. Like he just wouldn't go down. And then he did hit you with that punch at the end, and you can kind of tell he got you. But other than that, man, like you like, all right, we don't have to go too deep into it, but if that fight would have kept going, were you really stunned?
No, let's talk about it.
Were you stunned?
Up,
you were?
Yeah. There's always what ifs in MMA, right? Like, what if there had been 10 seconds left in the second, I would have had him out of there.
Yeah.
I was in mount.
Yep,
He's
you
not
had
getting me
him.
out of mount. I would have opened up an Xbox logo on his forehead. I would have started elbowing. But the same could be said in the third round, man.
Yep.
But it was me making a very stupid choice. Me trying to channel my inner Max Holloway, point to the floor, and just duck my head, bite down on the mouthpiece, and slug it out. The funny thing about that, man, is like, so I'm a huge believer in visualization. Like huge. Like it's all I do when I'm in camp. Like whenever I'm on a run, whenever I'm in bed, like I picture every possible scenario of the fight. So that scenario of me hearing that 10-second clapper and pointing to the ground and just throwing, throwing deuces out there, just chucking.
Yeah.
I pictured that like a million times, man. And every single time I pictured that in my head, the same thing happened. I got fucking rocked. I'd get clipped.
Damn.
For some reason, I heard that 10-second clapper, and I don't know if it was the fans. I don't know what it was, man. But I was feeling myself, and I was like, "Let's do it. Let's put them on the table and see what happens." And we saw what happened. I got hurt, man. And dude, third round, I still got 2 10-8s on the scorecards, and it's obviously a round I'm dominating. And at that point, the odds are like 80-20, 90-10, maybe on the feet. But the second you drop your hands and you start bombing overhands and just bite down on your mouthpiece, the odds become 50-50.
It's a whole new ball game. I mean, look at the zombie with Yair Rodriguez. You know what I mean? Like, last second, like, just elbow up to the zombie's face, put him to sleep, man.
Man.
It was just...
I'm not sure if... I'm never doing that again, right? I'm going to learn from that. It was stupid. I'm not sure if that's what won me the 50 G's though, because like for fight of the night, the fight has to be pretty back and forth. In that third round, it was pretty not back and forth. It was me kind of just putting it on him and almost put on like a boxing clinic, and then so I think maybe that may have won me the 50K, like, or assured that I won it. But I'm not sure if the 50 G's is worth the brain cells. But
dude, I honestly think
I
think you got fight of the night from that second round, man. That second round was one of the best rounds I've seen this year, and I'm not just saying it, man. Like it was just like insane. It was almost like the Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes fight, like like just it was just spread, like it was just so action packed, and like because with some of these fighters, you got them, they're very hesitant, like they don't really want to like show everything they got, but dude, you guys were banging, man. Even I had some friends watching the fight that don't really watch UFC, and they were even mentioning like, holy crap, man, is it always like this? I'm like,
that's awesome, man.
Some of the times, man,
stuff like that, dude. That to me means more than like Dana White telling me backstage how cool the fight was. Like, that's hearing awesome, from like fans telling me how exciting, or like I had a teammate tell me like he was like getting teary eyed, like that to me.
Yeah, man,
it's fucking sick,
dude. And you got James in your corner just yelling, "Go Hefe, go Hefe!" Like just throwing out the ball, dude. It was a dope moment. But yeah, man, you finished that fight with the scorecards are 29-28, 29-28, 29-27 for the official decision for you. Well deserving for that fight, man. After coming off that Jacob Silva fight from Contender Series, I think you showed a lot of what you have to offer, and I think people are interested, and I think people are going to tune in next time your name pops up on the fight card, and hopefully if it's in the prelims, the main card, who knows what it is, I'm sure people will be watching, including me and some people I know.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man.
About it, man. I like that energy.
Hell yeah. Let's break down that some of these fights real quick, man. Well, the first fight we were talking about, that was Liang Na versus Irene Carney-Lassie, where Carney-Lassie looked incredible, man. She was, I don't know if you got to see some of the fight or hear it or rewatch it, but man, that girl can fight. I don't know if you like talked to them or heard anything or even know more about her, but that fight just having that fight and then your fight right back to back, I think Joe was like, what a way to start the night. Like, you couldn't have started any better with your guys' 2 fights.
Yeah, I agree, man. That was a hell of a scrap. Dude, that girl's built like a tank.
Yeah,
the shorter one. Jesus.
Yeah, man. Dude, terrifying.
Made me feel skinny, like scrawny, I'm like, maybe I should go down to 115.
She just stays in the octagon and like, no, I got to fight the next person.
Yeah, man. It was a scrap. Yeah, it was a good way to start off the night. And again, I was watching it while warming up,
Yeah.
and we really thought it was going to go the full 15. And then we saw like most of the first round. We're like, all right,
Yeah.
this is
It's
not going the
over.
full
Yeah, it's
15.
over.
Yeah.
I feel like Liang just didn't have the cardio for it, and she was just really gassed. But I want to ask, do you think that that fight was so insane and she lost so much of her energy because it was the first time fans were back? And like maybe because like people were saying like, oh, the fans are under. I mean, they were screaming, man. Like you could hear it through. You could hardly hear the commentators. Do you think that had a factor in them taking it to the next level? And for your fight also?
Yeah, it's a possibility, man. It's hard to say. I think that's like athlete dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to know if it's like the fans, if it's jitters, if it's
For
an
sure.
adrenaline dump. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess only she would know of why she got a little juiced out pretty quick. But it was also pretty frantic right from the jump.
Yeah,
man. And
man. It really
that'll
was.
also, it's really easy to have an adrenaline dump that way.
Yeah.
It's hard to settle into a fight when there's no settling. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the Chris Weidman injury. Thank God he's had his surgery. He's doing well. He's through. He in his interview he said he's mostly through the heartache and the pain, and he's kind of broke through the other side of what he's gonna go through. But seeing stuff as an athlete, does that make you nervous? Does that make you want to like rethink maybe your leg kicks, or how does that fall into a fighter's mindset after seeing such a horrific accident like that, especially with Jimmy Cruz? Was it his ACL, I think, or something happened?
Yeah, something in his knee for
like,
sure.
His knee, like how does seeing like that, like how does that affect you as a fighter?
It's tough, man. It's always like a friendly reminder of how savage the sport can be. Like a dude lost his finger a couple weeks ago, bro. Like
Yeah, like what?
shit's crazy. I said this in I think the post fight presser little interview thing, but this shit ain't golf, man. Like this is fighting, and stuff like that happens.
Exactly.
And you know, it sucks. It sucks to see a fighter like Weidman have an injury like that. I mean, the irony, bro. Let's talk about that. Jeez.
I was gonna get to that, man.
Yeah, it's tough, and you know he's getting older, and it sucks because he's gonna be out for I think at least a year.
Year and a half, most likely, man.
Yeah.
Like he has to give time for that to heal and fully take place, because I don't know if you heard, his fibia. They didn't even screw that back in. That just floats there and it attaches itself eventually. Because it's not.
That's
It's
gnarly, man.
Yeah, it's just not like a big enough bone or strong enough to put like anything in it to hold it in place. So he was like, dude, he was I think it was Ariel. He was just telling him, yeah, I'll just walk around the house and I can feel it like going in and out. And I'm just like, dude, stop. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
But
It's super cringy for sure. My brother and a couple of my teammates were actually sitting right behind Weidman's parents.
mm-hmm.
So as soon as they heard it snap, apparently his parents and his wife just like stood up immediately and kind of like put their hands on their head and then just walked out.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to watch that.
The fighters weren't like I couldn't be there live. Like they made us go back in a shuttle immediately to the hotel. Like the fighters couldn't stay and watch the live.
Oh,
event,
really?
Kind of sucked,
Okay.
Man. Yeah.
Really?
I was really looking forward to experiencing like the fans with the fans. And, like,
did they at least were you able to watch it at the hotel? Did they have it for you there?
Yeah. That was
okay.
one cool thing is that as soon as we got in the room, like we turned on TV and they had already bought the pay-per-view for
That's
us.
awesome.
So
That's
that was
cool. That's cool.
But man, like that card was stacked, bro. So like
Dude.
I wanted to be there live for it and just experience that. But I guess I sort of did get to experience it, but not really.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you had fight of the night, man. Come on, like
Let's go.
That's enough experience.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just name the names on this card real quick: Usman, Masvidal, Weili Zhang, Rose, Shevchenko, like Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman, Anthony Smith. You had the fight of the night, man. Like that is something to be hugely proud of, and not something to take lightly in this sport.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, man. We were watching the fights back in the room, and I think we got back like the fight before the pay-per-view started, but every fight I was just hoping it was boring as fuck, man. I was like, because dude, it was stacked, like you're saying, man. Like three title fights, like we knew Wiley Rose was gonna be crazy. We knew Shevchenko and Andrade. Like I thought Andrade was gonna be more of a dog than she was, but I thought that was gonna be crazy as well. And then obviously Usman Masvidal, like those fights cannot be boring, and I was just hoping they were, you know.
Dude, I mean, those fights weren't boring. Those fights were insane, and you still got fight of the night, and it's well deserved. But Yeah, just the amount of talent on this card, and for you to come through and have fight of the night from such an early on, from the early prelims, man, like that says a lot. But yeah, so Chris Weidman, we wish him the best of luck with his recovery. As always, we're praying for him. Hopefully, we'll see him in the octagon again soon. But what do you think's next for Uriah Hall? He just beat Anderson Silva, who broke his leg on Chris Weidman's leg, or like it's just the whole full circle thing. But what do you think's next for Uriah?
Man, it's hard to say just because we didn't really get to see a fight, right? Like I think there were 0 strikes thrown, so it's hard to.
Literally 17 seconds, 1 strike, leg and a half.
Yeah, he won without throwing a strike, which is
first time in UFC history.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
it. Yeah. So it's hard to say. He fought an over the hill Anderson Silva, who Anderson didn't look that bad early in that fight.
No,
but again, that's still Anderson Silva,
And then they cut him right after it, man, which sucked. I mean, it's just so unfortunate. I mean, he is a little bit out of his prime, but he did look great in that Uriah Hall fight, man.
Yeah, right. He looked great until he didn't.
Until he got caught.
So it's tough to say like what to do with Hall. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any matchup in mind for him, but I guess you can feed him anyone in the top 15.
Yeah, you have to. I feel like he needs someone in the top 10, like just to keep him relevant, because he is an amazing fighter, and if enough people get behind him and he can like sell enough pay-per-views as a main event fighter, like he has the skill set to do it. He just needs to get more of that backing behind him, because like people like me and other people that are really in MMA, like we know Uriah Hall, we know his skill set, but for some people that are just tuning in a bar or something, like, oh, who's that guy, Uriah Hall? And then his friend might tell him, yeah, he knocked out Anderson Silva, and that's all he gets. People don't really know his background, which kind of sucks.
No, for sure, man. He's a hell of an athlete. Like, I mean, he was a prospect for sure at one point in time. I think I was listening to a podcast. I forgot which one it was, but it was either this week or last week. And apparently, off the Ultimate Fighter, they were going to offer him a title shot. Like they were in talks of offering him a title shot, man. That's how much of a prospect this guy was. Off the Ultimate Fighter, they were talking about the next fight being a title shot, but I think he lost to Gastelum.
That's insane.
But yeah, man, I mean, that dude has one of the nastiest knockout highlights, in history.
He's a dog, and he's so humble. Like that's the thing about him. He's not arrogant or anything. Like that's another reason some people might not know who he is. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, those fighters don't stick out some of the time because they're not in the news or they're not, ESPN's. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it sucks for him being on the good side. But yeah, hopefully he'll get a shot here again soon for middleweight. But man,
no, I agree, man.
Valentina,
I think for him, one more thing on Hall, man. I think for him it was a mental thing. Like, he's always had the talent. He's always had the freak athlete ability, and I just think it was a mental thing for him. But he seems to be. I mean, it's hard to tell, but he seems to be in a good place.
Yeah, exactly. Valentina Shevchenko, man, dominance once again. There's no one I think that she should go up against next other than Amanda. I think they should make this happen. I know she's already lost twice to her, but I want to see it again. I want to see her at this point in her career go against Amanda at her point in her career. But yeah, this fight against Jessica was just completely one-sided. She dominated. But what do you think of Shevchenko's reign in the women's flyweight division?
Man, she looks untouchable. I think there was there was like a moment of, oh, she's human in her fight previous to Andrade, where she got taken down, and she still did amazing, man. She still had a great performance, and who knows if she had an off night, but she still had a great performance. Like, it was the first time we saw Shevchenko be human besides the Nunes fights, but even those fights, those aren't like dominating fights. Like those are pretty back and forth. So
exactly,
I don't know what you do with her. Like, I really thought Andrade was going to give her more problems than she did.
Yeah,
I had Shevchenko winning that fight, but not in that dominating fashion.
Yeah,
like she was ragdolling Andrade.
Dude, she took her to the ground so fast, man, and
easily, like
kept
just
her
like
in
she
guard.
was throwing her around. You know? Like I just got a puppy, and it reminded me of like when I'm like playing fetch with my puppy, he's not letting go of the thing.
Yeah,
was just ragdolling her. So that was pretty surprising, man.
Yeah, man.
So
bring the puppy in frame if you want. Let's show the people.
Yeah, I don't know where he went, man.
If he comes back through, we'll have to show him.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Yeah, right.
You told me. Alfie. Yeah, man. That's hilarious.
He's a man. He's a
did you name him after anybody, or you just came up with Alfie?
No, that was his name when we got him. And
okay, awesome.
I kind of liked it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, Alfie's clean. And usually dogs that hear that name, like since birth, like they're gonna react to that name more.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, man. But on to some other great female athletes. Speaking of Jessica Andrade, Weili Zhang, who was the title holder going in the UFC 261, won that title by beating Jessica Andrade in China. I think that was 2019, late 2019, something like that. But she went up against Rose, and we all know what Thug Rose could do. I had Rose winning going into this fight, but man, oh man, that kick was something else. Right on the kisser, put her back. Weili buckled and just ground and pound and got the win. I think Weili afterwards, like, I don't know how to say this. I lost a little bit of like respect for her a little bit. How she was kind of like protesting against the fight, saying it was too early. It was too early. They shouldn't have done that. I think if she would have just stood up, took the loss, but I can't speak for her. It just seemed a little weird because she is such a professional when it comes to fighting. That was like the first time we saw like Weili like kind of get mad and upset about something. But congrats to Rose. Like, what do you think of the kick, man? Like, it was a whew.
Man, it was phenomenal. Like the setup was perfect. Like going inside low, and then she even did this little ninja trick, I like to call it, that I do a lot, is look down when you go high, right?
Yep.
It's just like you go low kick, you threw the first one, and then you just look down and then go high with it. And
Yep.
it's, man, what a setup, and caught her by surprise. And it was more of a flash knockdown, and I think it was really the follow-up that put her out.
Yeah.
Like whenever you get one of those flashes where you don't see a strike coming, it doesn't really hurt you, it just messes up your equilibrium. It's almost like getting hit behind the head. It doesn't really hurt you. It's the follow-up that hurts you and puts you away. And
Yeah.
I think that's what happened, man. And Rose looked incredible, man. She's a sniper, and she's a super cool chick, man. I actually sat with her at weigh-ins. We got to chop it up a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
The first event I ever saw live, she fought Tisha Torres. It was at Ameristar Casino. I think I was like 14 or 15.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
And dude, it was just a banger of a fight. And
Yeah.
I remember Rose going for like 10 flying arm bars, and it was super back and forth, and Rose ended up winning that fight, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
And first event I ever saw live.
Yeah.
But as far as Weili, man, it's tough. It's tough because I used to think the same thing. But as far as like her protesting the stoppage, but from what I've heard, I've never been knocked out like that. But it's like you want something so bad, so like,
Yeah.
and you don't really know what happened, and you go 10, 12 weeks, and you're at the pinnacle of the sport, which is a world championship fight, and you go out there and you get knocked out, and you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, the ref's pulling you off, and you're trying to tell them you're good, and it's tough, man. I don't lose any respect for her. I get it.
Mhm.
I'm sure looking back at it now, she's like, oh fuck, I was messed up. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks ref for
Yeah.
actually saving my life. But
Yeah.
you know, it's not something you know right as it happens. So
Yeah.
I understand it. It's just,
Yeah.
it kind of just shows like how much she wanted it. That's kind of the way I take it, especially in that situation, you know.
Yeah, and especially going 21 fights in a row, not losing since her first professional fight. Take all that to account. It must have been a lot going in her mind. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that Jessica Andrade, who fought before them, slammed Rose, almost ended Rose's career, scared her pretty much half to death from landing an arm head, took the title from her, lost the title to Weili, and then now Rose is taking the title back from Weili. It's such an interesting, like, form of
Sports
events.
fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
literally
What a path.
insane.
Like what a path
Yeah.
for Rose. And I think that path was good for her. Like in the
Yeah.
sense, like I remember she was talking about like hating being a champion and not wanting to do interviews and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I think when she had lost the belt, she was like, oh, I actually kind of like that. You
I
know,
miss it,
maybe she
yeah.
doesn't like the interviews, but she likes what championship status
Yeah.
means, right? Like it
Yeah.
means you are the best
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
And I know that money comes with it, and there's definitely perks to it, but I think the biggest thing is like you are the best.
Yep.
You know.
Exactly. And to speak on the thing about her interviews, the funny thing about Rose is she doesn't even really need to do interviews because she's got one of the best hype men in the game with Pat, her husband. Like, that guy, dude, after she won and he was like, you're the best in the world.
Who's the
girl.
best?
Who's the best?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, that was
cool
so,
to see, man.
yeah, he's such like a great dude, and like to see that and to see him, like, since he's not a fighter anymore and put so much work into his loved one and get her to that point again, like, you can tell it was just as much as a win for him as it was for her. And yeah, just seeing her saying she was the best, I'm the best before the fight, and then with Joe Rogan, she's like, it all just fit well. She is a champion in my eyes. She's always been a champion because I personally think Rose is one of the greatest fighters on this planet. Just her precision and her athleticism is just outstanding, and she just beat one of the best women strawweights in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just that raw emotion in that Joe Rogan interview was cool to see. You know,
I am the best.
That was cool to see. But yeah, I agree, man. I think she's one of the most technical fighters ever.
Yep.
You know, the smaller the weight classes get, the more technical the fighters get. And man, for a 115-pound girl, she's an absolute
just
monster.
Her poise is just so interesting to watch. Just seeing how calm she can be, like when the fight starts, and how dangerous she can be. You know what I mean? It's unlike anything.
That type of composure is something I've strived for years. You know, people were giving me props and compliments for my composure, but like that's nothing compared to Rose, dude. Like she's on a
stone
level,
faced.
That's what I strive to be. Yeah.
It was an insane fight. It was one of my favorite knockouts she's had. Like it was beautiful. But man,
she looked great. On
to this main event fight. Usman versus Masvidal. Before going into the fight, who did you have?
I had Usman taking that. Not by the way he did. I thought he was gonna
repeat from the last fight.
I thought it was gonna be more dominating. But man, Usman looked really fucking good.
Yeah. He looked amazing. I called on the podcast that Usman would win, but like deep down I wanted Masvidal to win. I've always been a Masvidal fan ever since the Kimbo Slice days. Like we would watch those randomly on the internet on dailymotion.com. Me and my friends pulling up the Street Jesus and Kimbo and all those, and watching Kimbo knock a dude's eye out. All that stuff was so intriguing for us, and I've always been a Masvidal fan, but unfortunately I think that was his final shot at the title. But man, he went out with a bang. He was hitting Usman here and there, but Usman's he's got a chin of steel or something, man. He's the real deal now. There's something in these past 3 fights where it's just holy shit, man.
Yeah, man, something's in the water with these with these people over at Whitman's gym, and man, same here though. As far as Masvidal, Brain said Usman, Hart wanted Masvidal. Huge Masvidal fan. I was trying not to fanboy over fighters that I've grown up watching all week, but the second I saw Masvidal, he pulled up in a Bugatti.
Yeah.
As soon as he got out, I saw his Masvidal. I'm like, oh, I'm for sure asking for a fucking picture. I don't care how much of a fanboy I look like. And super cool dude, man.
Did you get the picture?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah, man.
He grabbed me by my shoulder, pulled me in, and was like, "What's your name, man?" I'm like, "My name's Jeff." And he's like, oh shit. I was like, "My name's Jeff Molina." He's like, "Oh shit, you're fighting tomorrow?" And I was like, yeah. He's like, "How old are you, man? You look like you're 16. and I'm like, "I'm 23, man." He's like, "Dude, that's awesome." And he goes, "Steal the main event tomorrow. Steal the main event." And then, that to me was fucking sick. He didn't have to say anything.
You kind of did,
and
technically,
Hell
man.
Yeah, man.
You kind of did. In Dana's eyes.
Yeah, that was super cool of him, man. And he just wished me luck, and I wished him the same.
Yeah, and it as much as a fan of Masvidal I am in his fighting, I'm such a fan of him in the defeat. There's not a lot of fighters that can go out there, talk to Joe Rogan and say, hey, he won fair and square. He put me on my ass. I didn't expect him to hit me that hard. He knocked me out, and kudos to him. He is the true champ. And Masvidal does that. He did that, and that to me puts him just higher and higher on a pedestal. Any fighter that takes the time out and congratulates the champion on what they've done.
And you gotta love that. You gotta love that.
Exactly.
That live by the sword, die by the sword type mentality, man.
Exactly.
You do this shit for long enough, your time's coming. Especially with the way Masvidal fights, and I can appreciate that, and I know a lot of people can too.
Yeah. And boy, he got rocked. Whew.
Yeah, man. That was a flat line. There's different types of knockouts, but that was a flat line where it might make you a different person, man.
Yeah.
Might not ever be the same.
The thing that blew my mind, though.
Honestly, I think I'd rather have a Chris Weidman leg break than be knocked out like that.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, man.
Interesting. I feel that.
I don't know. I got asked that question, and I'm like, after much thinking about it, I'm like, dude, I think I'd rather have that happen to my leg than be flatlined like that. it definitely has an effect on your brain, man. I don't
Oh,
care what you say.
100%. Oh, 100%. 100%. Um, the thing, what was I gonna say? I can't remember. Oh, the thing that blows my mind is that Masvidal didn't go to sleep from that initial punch. Like, he got flashed, kind of like you said. You could see in his eyes. He went to sleep on the third hammer fist, and that's when he fully went out. That just is like, holy crap. Like, Masvidal was still like semi-witted after getting hit that hard. It was just that he fell awkwardly, and Usman did the shoulder push and pushed him to the ground, which is flawless technique from Usman. The counter duck and then pushing him out. Like,
I'm glad you brought that up, man. Like, people don't usually recognize stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, the ability to follow up and finish that way is fucking the highest level, obviously. Right?
It was flawless, even in slow motion. Like, there's no hesitation in his body. It was all fluid, like if you were pouring out a glass of water. There was no stop, no drippage. It was hit, duck, and then it was it was a beautiful knockout. It was really nice, man.
It was awesome. It was funny enough, like, first round, the commentators were talking about how sloppy Usman striking was looking.
I'm just
and
like,
then for him to go out there in the second and just put him away the way he did was incredible.
DC, Joe, and Anik, sometimes like they're they're right on the money, but sometimes just like, hey guys, like, give these guys a second, like, let them do what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough gig to have. Also, obviously not as tough as fighting, but it's a tough gig to be there on the sideline trying to talk about what's happening when there's craziness in the heat of battle. So it's a tough job to have, but those guys are probably my favorite trio.
Oh, 100%. There's no other comment. I mean, when you throw Bisping in the mix, always like he's entertaining because he literally says whatever the hell he wants to say. Like, he has no
that
filter.
Kind of witty assholeness of that English. That's why people, not English people, but like an English person. You know?
That's why they never put him on the ABC cards. They're just like, Bisping, no, we can't do it, bud.
He's a liability. Yeah, but dude, did you see the commentaries, reactions to all the fights? Like, that was awesome. They're just like grabbing each other. And
Joe's eyes were just completely open. Like, man, it was nuts, man.
I love it.
Dude, it was such an amazing event. And like, when people ask me like, hey, what's some of your favorite UFC events, like UFC 261 will 100% be up there just for the atmosphere, the stage of the fans coming back and all that. But man, it was an absolute treat to see you fight and all these amazing athletes in the UFC fight. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the I think it's Jija. Is how you pronounce his name? Chikadze?
I think so.
Yeah.
Chikadze or something.
Yeah, Chikadze. His body kicked to Cub Swanson to the liver. What did you think about that?
Man, I can appreciate some good striking. People always looked at me as a striker. I disagree. I think I'm a mixed martial artist, but I started in kickboxing and Muay Thai because I was underage and could do MMA. So I have a deep appreciation for good striking. That guy is next level.
Yeah.
That guy is really fucking good. That's kind of his thing. Like, from what I heard from his training partners and his team out in King's MMA, is that he has one of the nastiest liver kicks.
It shows, man.
Ever.
Because Cub Swanson's not no chump. He's a tough
he's a savage. He's a tough dude. He's a guy that's fought through injuries and fight, has broken his hands in fight. So you know that his body shut down. Like,
it wasn't even him.
I'm not sure if you've ever been hit in the liver. But it's different, man. It's not something you can just fight through. It's it just shuts down your body. It's not really. It is a pain thing, but it's also like your brain's telling you to keep your hands up, but your body's like just dropping them. You know, trying to protect what's hurt. So
exactly.
It's tough, man. Yeah, he looked really good. I'm excited to see what his future entails. I wonder how the UFC is going to match him up. They're going to try to match him up with other exciting strikers like someone like Cub, or they're going to try to match him up with grapplers and not do him any favors. So
who did he call out? God, who did he call? He called out somebody.
He did call somebody.
It was a really good call out too, and I can't think of the person's
name. Yeah, but I think
right
the dude
now.
he called out has a fight.
Does he?
Yeah.
Fuck, who did he call out? I can't remember. I'll think of it eventually.
No, I know who you're talking about. I forgot. Dude,
let me actually look this up.
Called out.
UFC featherweights. Because who he called out, I was like, damn, that would be like
that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Who was it? Let me go to the featherweights real quick. Where they at?
Was it Shane Burgos?
I don't think so. Who did he call out? Here we go. It was what's his name? Max Holloway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He called out Max, and I was like, eventually, but like to see him
shoot your shot, I guess.
I mean, like he does. Like that would be a pretty entertaining fight, man. Because Max is someone that could take those hits from him and like keep going and allow that guy to show what he can do, and vice versa. But Max is waiting for that title fight.
I don't mind seeing him against a top 10, maybe top 5 guy.
Yeah.
In a main event, man. Let's see him in a 5-rounder. See how he looks.
Yeah, exactly. One more fight I want to talk to you about. Possibly the next light heavyweight champion after that performance. Jiri Prokazaka or something. Prokazaka?
Prozaki, maybe?
Prozaki, yeah, something like that. That dude can freaking fight. Holy cow. We're talking about someone that just went up against Dominic Reyes, who went 5 rounds with John Jones. And this guy walks into the UFC and does this. Like, absolutely amazing. The knockout, the elbow, like, the overall fierceness and craziness of the fight was just like, holy shit. Like, these guys are really throwing.
Man, they were chucking hammers from the start of the fight. Like, the second that bell rang, like, and Dominic Reyes wasn't doing bad in that first round, man. I feel like the commentary was a little, not biased, but they were bigging up how well I'm gonna
Jiri,
name
Jiri.
Yeah, there we go. Jiri.
Yeah.
How good Jiri was doing, but I thought Reyes wasn't looking too bad, man.
No,
I thought the first round was close, but you can kind of just see the momentum shifting, right? Yeah, he looked really good, man. Almost like Tony Ferguson-esque, not like over the hill Tony right now, but like Tony from the past, you know, like
Tony from the past.
Yeah, prime Tony was. It reminded me of that, with just like his ability 100%. To take a shot and come back with triple the volume of whatever the dude's throwing, and come back with elbows and just be nasty and violent, man. He looked really good, and it just it brings some excitement to 205, which I think the division kind of needs, right? Not that Jan is boring, but we need people to challenge him that bring excitement, and I think that dude's a perfect guy, Yuri. Yeah, and it's especially with John Jones being out of the division now, man. Like that's exactly what 205 needs, and I think they got a potential superstar on their hands.
Oh, 100%. And just the fact that he was offered a UFC contract 2 years ago and he declined it because he says he wasn't at that level yet. That's next level. Like, hey, I don't want the money. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to be the best, and I'm not going to come in there until I am the best. And shit, dude, to me right now, I don't think Jan can beat this dude. I'm just being straight up right here, man. This guy is technically just a whole different fighter than Jan, and I don't think Jan is ready for anything like that, because this dude doesn't fight like Adesanya, but he has more skills than most fighters that Jan has gone against. But Jan's not gonna be able to put this dude to the ground. You know what I mean? He's not gonna be able to just keep him on the ground and like wrestle him like what he did with Adesanya. So I'm excited to see what happens with the lightweight division and going forward, or light heavyweight. But man, that was a great fight. Just this past 2 weeks has been amazing.
Thinking of that matchup now, man, I don't know if Yuri got hit. He got cracked.
He did
a good amount of times, and he got clipped, man. And I don't know if he can take those shots from Jan.
Really,
I do think Jan is a little slower than Reyes, but definitely hits harder. So yeah. I don't know if he can take those shots. I definitely think them being the same size, like he's not Izzy, like he's gonna have a hard time trying to take him down. And like you said, hold him down. But it is interesting, man. I do want to see him develop just a little bit more, maybe one or two fights before fighting Jan.
Yeah, no. I don't think he should get the title fight yet, but I think he's going to be the next on that train if the path he's going.
It does make things interesting, man, for sure. Because
the lightweight division was looking a little suspect here for a second. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, oh, John's gone, and then who's next for Blachowicz? We're talking like a 60-year-old Glover Teixeira, which I love the guy, but like, I don't know. But man, Glover can get it done. Like, you can't count him out, but I agree. It does bring some excitement.
And I think I'm happy for Glover getting that title shot. Like, he deserves it. He's been grinding for his age. Like, it's almost.
Man, dude, imagine if he gets it done. Jeez.
Dude, it'd be up there with Tom Brady, man. Like, literally, like
let's say Glover gets it done. What would be next? An immediate rematch or?
Oh, 100%. They would have to. They would have to give him a rematch. You can't.
Glover versus Izzy.
No. I'm cool. I think Izzy's fully done with light heavyweight. I want to see Yuri versus Jan eventually. But yeah, man, I'm more excited to hopefully eventually see John Jones versus Ngannou. And mark my words, Ngannou is gonna put Jones on the canvas and just sleep him. And I think that's why Jones won't do it for 30 million. Hey, I called the Dustin Poirier against Conor fight. I didn't call
Did
the
you?
right round, but I called. Yeah,
You
100%
called
called
the
the
KO?
knockout. Oh,
Who
100%.
do you got in the trilogy?
Oh, Dustin, 100%. I
Yeah.
think Connor's focusing too much on strength at this point from all the stuff and videos he's posting, and I think it's going to be the same situation. I think Dustin's going to clip him one good time and just put him in the corner again and just go to work with him. I think Dustin has been slept on for so long, and it's been very disrespectful to him. And just even the betting odds against Connor was disrespectful. And I feel like that got under his skin. But now that he's beat Connor, I feel like he's on a whole new level. I think it's like he's opened his inner source of capabilities, and he knows what he's capable of. And I don't think there's anyone stopping Dustin. I think he'll be the champion again here soon.
I agree, man. I agree. As far as like having beat someone, the mental edge you get over them,
Oh,
just having beat
100%.
them, especially not so long ago. And I said that when people were asking me about the Masvidal Usman fight, they're like, "Oh, but Masvidal's got a full camp." I'm like, man, you got to realize that Usman beat him not that long ago, and the
Yeah.
fact that he was in a 5-round fight with somebody and you got not whooped, but you got beat. It just gives you a mental edge over that person. Knowing like,
Yep.
dude, I already beat you. Like, and
Exactly.
it wasn't very long ago. It was less than a year ago. So
Exactly.
I think that says a lot. But yeah, I am interested to see if Conor can make the proper adjustments because
Yeah.
I think he knows another loss, especially the type of way he got knocked out, or the
Yeah.
type of loss it was. It was a knockout, and it was a pretty nasty one at that.
Yeah.
What it does to his stock, right? Like his stock
Yeah.
plummets.
Exactly.
You can't take two of those back to back like that. Like you can lose one, win one, lose one, win one, and your stock
Yeah.
almost stays the same, if not goes up from
Exactly.
promotion. But you can't take two of those back to back, man. So
No.
he's not doing bad for himself. Sold a proper 12
Oh,
for
yeah.
like 600 million or something like
Yeah,
that.
he's doing great,
But
man.
he's doing great, man. I'm interested to see if what type of Conor we get.
Yeah. And it's funny how you said
night.
he took the loss, but the UFC kind of took a loss there too, because Dana was hoping for that Khabib Conor rematch, because even I think it was during Looking for a Fight when Khabib was with when they were in Abu Dhabi, when Dana first met with him, and they were at I can't remember who, it's the Warriors at Cage or something, whatever the Abu Dhabi organization is out there where they do the fights. He was looking at Khabib. He was like, imagine, like he was like, we already sold out like blah 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 with Dustin versus Conor. Imagine if you came back and fought Conor. And like that kind of stuck with me, because that tells me that Dana's looking for a certain fighter to get that win just to make money. And I think that's just a little taboo for me, but I completely understand what he's saying. Like that could have been one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time, like Conor versus the Khabib rematch, I mean. But I personally think that Khabib is done. He is one of the greatest of all time, and I think it's time. I honestly think that Dustin versus Conor should be the title fight. They should just go ahead and make that the title fight. It sucks for like Gaethje, but I think they gotta go for it. They gotta give someone the title. Like no one has the title right now. Like it's just a little weird.
So Chandler Oliveira next week, no, for the title. Yeah,
I think
all day.
I think whoever wins that fight would go against whoever wins the Conor Dustin fight, because Chandler is a beast, man. He's a beast.
I agree.
And
So
Oliveira
man, I can talk fights with you all day, Jalen.
Yeah,
who do you got? Who do you got in the Chandler Oliveira fight?
Oh, if Chandler can put him away in the first, I think he's golden. But if Oliveira gets him on the ground like he did Tony, I think it's gonna go Oliveira. Like all 5 rounds. I think he'll just keep putting him on the ground and hopefully get a submission by like fourth or fifth round, most likely.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
Yeah. I love
Oliveira's
Chandler.
Good, man. Chandler's fucking good. Man, to me, just that sheer explosiveness that Chandler has, like he's got that one knockout power just from exploding into it. But I do agree, past the first, that type of explosiveness just goes away, or not goes away, but definitely becomes less, and it's harder to get clipped by someone who loses that explosiveness when that's like their one move.
For sure.
I don't see him taking down Oliveira. I don't think Chandler's ever been subbed in his career, but
it's a different ball game with
there's a
people
lot of
like
variables,
that.
man. Like another thing about Oliveira is that he's quit in the past, man. He's had that quit in him before. And it was down at 45, it's not 55, but he used to quit in fights, and that to me is like a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, you've given up your neck before. You're like, I want to be out of here type stuff. But
yeah,
I used to think like once a quitter, always a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've kind of stop believing in. I think you can train yourself to not be a quitter, man.
Yeah.
I think you can do that in the gym, just by being tough and kind of just being in the trenches and fighting through that type of stuff. So he hasn't
Exactly.
quit in a very long time. So yeah, if I had to put money on it, I think I'm taking Oliveira, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if it goes past the first and second round, it's Oliveira. But if it's, I think Chandler's gonna knock him out in that first or second round. I mean, just look at
Really?
look at
Yeah.
him
That
look at him against Hooker, man. Like that was Hooker is a beast, and he just
yeah, he's one of my
slept him.
favorites.
He slept him, like completely
Yeah.
slept him.
Yeah.
For Chandler's size and that power and that strength from him, like holy crap! Like I'm excited to see who he's training with now. If he's staying with the same people, if they got new people rotating in and like training partners. But I'm excited to see how he takes on this next challenge, and hopefully he wins, and then hopefully we see him in a title shot soon. I don't know. I would love to see him against Gaethje also. I think that'd be a damn good fight.
Hooker and Gaethje.
No, Chandler
Man.
versus Gaethje. Chandler versus Gaethje.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
either or really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Um,
I don't think Gaethje
I
should
love
fight
that.
Dan. You know what I mean? I think that would be going
You should hold
like
out.
back. Yeah, I just Gaethje's too good, man. Like he doesn't
So
deserve
you
that.
got Chandler winning against Oliveira, and you got DP winning against McGregor. So what do you do? What do you do there? Is it DP and Chandler? And
that's a
then
hard thing because you kind of gotta put Gaethje in that situation somehow and like take that into account. To be honest with you, because like
But
Gaethje-
Gaethje's last fight was Khabib, no?
no, his last he fought. Yeah, it was Khabib, but didn't he fight Dustin too? No.
No, he fought Tony before Khabib, and then so he's coming off a lot.
Yeah.
In a title
right.
shot.
It was Tony and then Khabib.
So you
yeah,
just
'cause
had
he
a
beat
chance,
Tony.
man. So I feel like you give him anyone in that top 5 just
Yeah.
to keep it fresh.
No, 100%. Yeah, you do. I do hope that he does get a title shot again here soon because I love Gaethje, but I love so many fighters. You know what I mean? Like I'm a huge Chandler fan. Just what he does in his actual life with adopting his child, the African American child, just in his wife and their whole philanthropy and what they do. Like I love rooting for fighters like that. His whole mindset and his purpose in life is much different than some of these other fighters, and to be that good and to still have a different mindset that separates you from everyone else because you want to do more in the world, I gotta root for that. You know what I mean? I gotta get behind that guy's back.
For sure, man. He seems like a great dude, man.
Yeah.
From what I see on social media and like, the way he carries himself in interviews and
Yeah, exactly.
works hard. Yeah, you gotta love someone like that.
Yeah, but to clear up your answer, Dustin Poirier will be the champion. That's all I gotta say. Eventually, he's gonna get once it's back in rotation, it's gonna be Dustin. He's gonna, and I think he'll defend it for a year or two, and I think he's gonna call it quits, man. I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. That's one of my favorite fights of all time, and like, I love that dude. Like he's a genuine dude, and he can bang. It really bang.
Yeah, just a fighter's fighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe
exactly.
your casual may not respect him as much as we do, but I don't know. Maybe I think after that Conor fight, he did obviously his style rose too, and he gained some fans. But I think he's a fighter's fighter.
Yep.
Just always been a scrapper, man. Even when he was at 45 and WEC days. So that's another guy you gotta respect. But I don't know, man. That division's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Oh,
I keep going back
gnarly.
on that Chandler Oliveira fight, so I might change my answer, man. But I don't know. I got a weird feeling about Oliveira.
Depending on
but
when
I do see him maybe getting knocked out in early in the first or early in the second. So
yeah. I think I can give you a better answer and be more sound. Actually, no. Dustin would be either one of those dudes in my eyes. He'll be Oliveira or Chandler, 100%. Chandler, I think he would. No, I think he would have more struggles with Oliveira just because of the wrestling. And we kind of saw Poirier against Khabib with the wrestling, even though Khabib's a whole different type of universe of wrestling. But I think he would struggle more against Oliveira in a fight. I honestly do. But he has to get back. He has to get past Conor again, which is so stupid because Conor gets rematches like it's nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, Conor fought Nate, lost, fought him again, won, and then Nate asked for a rematch and he still hasn't got it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff like that bothers me, that they suck up to him and give him these extra fights when he wants them and if it works out for him. But other than that, like, I understand. I'm excited to see the fight again. Like, I'm not arguing about it at all. I don't think there's
Yeah,
I don't think there's anybody.
Never mad at a Conor fight,
Yeah,
man.
I don't think there's another person he could
his
fight right
aura
now.
and just he's different, man. He
Oh,
definitely has
100%.
that it, and whenever he's fighting, I'm tuning in. Even if he's 60 years old fighting Jake Paul, I'm tuning in. You know, there's something about Conor,
Stop.
dude. Like the way
Or
he talks,
no.
and carries himself, dude. Like man, like when he was talking about like him not training and like against Khabib, like I don't buy it for a second, but
Oh, no.
there's believability when he's saying it. Like as he's talking, I'm like I start to buy it, you know, and then
Yeah.
afterwards, I'm like man, what was I thinking? But like
Yeah.
something about him, just the way
He has that old
approaches the
WWF
game.
like a monologue thing behind him, but it's real. You know what I mean? Like
that's the thing. It feels real. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if it is. I get to train with James Gallagher now, like
Nice,
daily.
man.
He's at our gym.
Hell
He's a good
yeah,
friend
that's
of
super cool.
Conor's, and he says like a lot of it. Not a lot of it, but most of it's real, man. Like it's just maybe a little exaggerated, but you know, it's truly how he feels, and I think that's cool. Like I think that's cool that it's not super WWE-ish or WWF-ish. He believes in what he's selling.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to. I mean, if you're going to be that confident, I mean, he's one of the
Absolutely,
most confident
man.
people in the sport.
This sport is super mental, man. Like obviously there's a lot of physical that comes with it, with legs breaking and fingers falling off, but it's also pretty mental. So
Yeah, it really
not
is.
pretty mental, but very mental. Like you got to be on it, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not mad at things like Wiley getting up and being like, what? No, why'd you
Yeah.
stop it? You know, it's like you gotta love it that much, and you gotta be that kind of egotistical asshole if you want to be a world champion or be successful in the sport. But you know, Wiley's obviously a good girl and not a good girl, but like you know, she's I've been hanging out with my dog too much, man.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's just been you and the dog.
She's a genuine person, and like you were saying, there was like some discrepancy between how she carried herself after the fight and how she usually is. But I just think that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think for sure now looking back, she's like, oh yeah, thanks ref for not letting me lose too many brain cells.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, man, Jeff, it's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold you up too much longer.
I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, you're welcome on the show anytime. We're big fans of you over here. Can't wait to see you fight again. And congrats on the insanely big victory, including the $50K bonus for Fight of the Night, UFC 261, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm always down to chop it up and talk about fights, man. I can do this all day. I mean, this is really what I do at the gym, man. Just with my training partners.
Yeah, for sure.
We talk fights all day, so
for sure, man.
Anytime you want to talk shop, I'm down, brother.
Awesome, man. Yeah, a great mind of the sport. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing, and you put it out there on the canvas, and we appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, brother. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Molina. Thanks, man.
See you, brother.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on the show. Originally, it was our first guest on the Pound for Pound MMA podcast, and here he is, UFC 261 Fight of the Night. Like, literally, Dana White's Contender Series, straight into the mix, man. What an amazing fighter, what an amazing guy, and I really appreciate him coming on the show today to talk. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. We will still be having an episode tomorrow, Pound for Pound episode 40, as we usually take place on Saturdays. But please tune in for that. But other than that, I think that's it. I'm your host, Jalen Walker, and this is the MMA podcast, Pound for Pound. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.